Hello, and welcome to Lotus Light Teachings. Today, we embark on a transformative journey together. Have you ever felt trapped in a cycle? Waking up every day to routines that no longer inspire you, longing for change yet unsure where to begin? If so, you're not alone, and this video is just for you. As we step into 2025, a year brimming with potential, it's the perfect time to redefine your path and embrace the life you've always dreamed of. Drawing from the timeless teachings of Buddhism, today we'll explore 10 powerful rules for immediate life transformation. These are not just abstract ideas. They are practical, actionable steps that can ignite a profound shift in your life starting today. Let's dive in. Let's begin with a story. Picture this. Sarah, a 35-year-old marketing professional, sits at her desk, staring at an overflowing inbox. Her mornings are rushed. Her evenings are spent scrolling social media, and her weekends disappear in a blur of obligations. Every January, she sets ambitious resolutions, only to abandon them by February. She dreams of a more meaningful life but feels stuck, paralyzed by fear of failure and the sheer weight of her routine. Does Sarah's story resonate with you? Maybe you felt the same way. Stuck in a loop, yearning for change but unsure where to begin. Here's the truth. Transformation isn't reserved for the lucky or extraordinary. It's available to anyone, including you. And it starts with one small step. As the new year begins, imagine a blank canvas before you. 2025 is your chance to paint a new picture of your life, one that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. And here's the beauty of it. Buddhism offers timeless wisdom to guide us. Through small, consistent actions, we can break free from limiting patterns and step into our fullest potential. What if I told you that the key to transformation isn't found in grand gestures, but in the simple, intentional steps we take each day? In this video, we'll uncover 10 transformative rules, rooted in ancient wisdom yet perfectly applicable to modern life. As we explore each rule, I encourage you to reflect on your own journey. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? And most importantly, are you ready to take the first step? Let's start with the first principle. Take charge of your life. Rule 1. Take charge of your life. Have you ever stood still and felt the weight of your life pressing down, wondering why things unfold as they do? Perhaps it feels as though the threads of your story are tangled in knots you cannot untie. Yet, amidst this labyrinth of uncertainty, Buddhism reminds us of a profound truth. You are the weaver of your destiny. This is not a burden, but a liberation, a call to step into the role of creator rather than victim. As the Buddha taught, karma is the law of cause and effect, a universal rhythm that reflects the energy of our thoughts, words, and actions. It is not about blame, but about empowerment. The choices we make today shape the reality we live tomorrow. Imagine your life as a garden. Each action is a seed, and the harvest depends on what you sow. Are you planting seeds of kindness, patience, and effort, or are you allowing neglect and resentment to take root? The wind whispers to the trees. The fruit depends upon the seed. What you plant, you shall retrieve. Your harvest waits. Just believe. Consider a corporate worker named David, whose life felt like an unending storm. Deadlines loomed, meetings drained his energy, and dissatisfaction seemed to follow him home like a shadow. David believed his circumstances were to blame. His boss, the economy, the endless demands of life. But one evening, exhausted and restless, he stumbled upon a teaching of the Buddha. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. This realization struck him deeply. He began to see that while he couldn't control external pressures, he could control how he responded to them. David started small. He practiced mindfulness each morning, taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply and set an intention for his day. Instead of reacting with frustration when challenges arose, he paused and observed his thoughts. Slowly, his inner landscape began to shift. Work remained demanding, but he no longer felt like a victim of his environment. He discovered peace within himself, a peace that no circumstance could take away. Buddhism teaches us that responsibility is not self-blame. It is self-awareness. To take charge of your life means acknowledging that while you cannot control the rain, you can choose how to dance in the storm. The choices we make in each moment become the stepping stones of our journey. Between each breath, the choice is made to walk in shadow or in shade. The path unfolds, both dark and bright. Each step we take leads to the light. The story of Maria, a single mother, offers another glimpse into the transformative power of responsibility. Maria's life was filled with struggles. Long hours at a low-paying job, the weight of raising 2 children alone, and the constant fear of not being enough. For years, she believed her circumstances were fixed, and despair began to settle into her heart like an unwelcome guest. One day, at a community workshop, she heard the story of Angulimala, a notorious bandit from Buddhist scriptures who transformed his life through a single decision to follow the path of compassion and mindfulness. Maria realized that while she could not change her past or erase her struggles, she could change how she approached each day. She began to set small goals, waking up a little earlier to meditate, writing down 3 things she was grateful for, and seeking joy in the moments she shared with her children. As weeks turned into months, Maria noticed a shift. Her circumstances were still challenging, but her perspective had changed. She felt stronger, more hopeful, and more present. Her children noticed too. They saw their mother smiling more, listening more, and radiating a quiet strength that inspired them. Buddhism reminds us that life is not a fixed script but a dynamic process. The principle of impermanence teaches that nothing stays the same, and within this truth lies immense potential for change. By taking responsibility for how we respond to life, we align ourselves with the flow of transformation. The river flows, it does not wait for time to change or twist of fate. Step in, embrace its endless stream, awake, and live the life you dream. As you reflect on this rule, consider this. Where in your life are you waiting for something external to change? What if the change you seek begins with you? Start small, as David and Maria did. Pause before reacting, choose words that uplift rather than harm, and take one action today that reflects the life you wish to create. Taking charge of your life is not about controlling every outcome. It's about embracing your role as an active participant in your own story. It is about finding freedom in responsibility and peace in the power of choice. As the Buddha said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." The path is yours. The steps are clear. Though mountains rise, do not fear. Within your heart, the strength will grow. Take charge and watch your spirit glow. In the quiet moments of your day, return to this thought. You are the author of your life. Each choice, no matter how small, is a sentence in your story. What will you write today? Rule 2. Write down your goals. There's a quiet magic in putting pen to paper. A moment where thoughts take form, dreams become tangible, and intentions find clarity. Have you ever noticed how the simple act of writing can transform fleeting ideas into commitments? In the teachings of Buddhism, intention plays a pivotal role. It is through intention, right thought, and right effort, as outlined in the Noble Eightfold Path, that we align ourselves with a purposeful life. Imagine a struggling artist named Leah, whose days once blurred into one another in a haze of uncertainty. She longed to bring her creative visions to life but felt overwhelmed by the enormity of her dreams. One day, a mentor introduced her to a practice that changed everything: the habit of writing down her goals. Leah started small, listing one goal each morning in a notebook. She didn't just write, "I want to create art." She was specific. "I will sketch for 20 minutes daily," or "I will complete one painting this month." These written commitments became her anchor, a reminder of her path when distractions or doubts crept in. Over time, her scattered ideas coalesced into projects, and her projects turned into exhibitions. A thought, once written, takes its stand, a seed now sown by your own hand. Each line a bridge, from dream to plan, the future shaped by what you command. Research in psychology echoes Leah's experience. Studies have shown that people who write down their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them. Why? Writing externalizes our intentions, making them concrete and harder to ignore. It invites accountability and reinforces focus. In Buddhist terms, it transforms right thought into right action, guiding our energy toward meaningful pursuits. But this practice is not only about achievement, it's also about clarity. Goals written down serve as a mirror, reflecting not only what we desire but why we desire it. Are your goals aligned with your values? Are they born of wisdom or attachment? Taking the time to write allows us to discern between fleeting desires and the aspirations that truly nourish our soul. If you were to pause right now, what would you write? Consider this: what do I truly want in my career, relationships, and personal growth? Don't rush to answer, sit with the question. Let the words flow naturally without judgment. Writing isn't just a task, it's a dialogue with yourself, a chance to listen deeply. In the stillness of your pen's embrace, the mind reveals its quiet grace. A map unfolds, a path is traced, a journey begins, no time to waste. Rule 3: build unbreakable discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood. It is not a harsh regimen or a denial of joy. True discipline, as taught in Buddhism, is a form of compassion, a gift we give ourselves to cultivate freedom from suffering. The Eightfold Path, a cornerstone of Buddhist practice, reminds us of this. Through right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, we develop the inner strength to stay aligned with our values and aspirations. Think of Alex, a fitness enthusiast who struggled for years with procrastination. His mornings would begin with grand plans, but by evening, those plans were replaced by excuses. Then, he encountered the Buddhist concept of gradual training, often likened to tending a flame. If you try to force a fire to burn too brightly, it extinguishes. But with careful tending, adding small twigs one at a time, the fire grows steady and strong. Inspired, Alex shifted his focus from drastic changes to small, consistent actions. He started with 10-minute workouts and gradually increased his commitment. Over time, discipline became second nature, not a struggle. A flame begins with but a spark. A steady glow dispels the dark. With care and patience, it will grow. A warming light, a steady glow. Building discipline is much like cultivating a garden. It requires care, consistency, and patience. Buddhism teaches us to begin where we are, embracing small, manageable steps rather than overwhelming ourselves with unrealistic expectations. This is the essence of the middle way, avoiding extremes and finding balance. In practical terms, consider creating micro-habits. If you wish to meditate daily, start with 2 minutes. If you aim to read more, commit to a single page. These micro-habits might seem insignificant, but their cumulative effect is transformative. Over time, they build momentum, much like drops of water carving a path through stone. The Buddha himself exemplified discipline. For years, he dedicated himself to meditation, mindfulness, and the pursuit of enlightenment, not through sudden bursts of effort, but through steady, unwavering practice. His life teaches us that discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. But what happens when we falter? When our resolve weakens or life throws us off course? This is where self-compassion becomes crucial. Buddhism encourages us to approach our setbacks not with judgment but with understanding. Each moment offers a chance to begin again. A step delayed is not the end. The path allows for curves and bends. Return once more, the road extends, each step a chance to make amends. Reflect on your own life. What is one area where discipline could help you align with your values? Write it down. Now, consider the smallest step you could take toward that goal. A step so small it feels effortless. Commit to that step, not as a burden but as an act of love for yourself. As you nurture discipline, remember this: it is not about rigid control but about cultivating freedom. The freedom to act with intention rather than impulse. The freedom to create rather than react. And ultimately, the freedom to live a life aligned with your highest self. Discipline is not a chain. It does not bind. It does not constrain. It's wings that lift. It's strength regained. A quiet path through joy and pain. In the quiet moments of your day, return to the teachings of the Buddha. Let discipline and intention guide your steps as you move steadily toward a life of clarity, purpose, and peace. Each written goal, each small habit, is a thread in the tapestry of your becoming. And as the Buddha reminds us, a jug fills drop by drop. So, too, will your transformation unfold. Patiently, steadily, and beautifully. Rule 4. Eliminate toxic influences. There is a moment in every life when we must pause and take stock of the people, habits, and environments that surround us. Have you ever felt drained after spending time with someone? Or found yourself caught in a cycle of negativity that felt impossible to break? The Buddha taught that our surroundings profoundly shape our minds and hearts. In Buddhism, the principle of right association reminds us that just as a lotus grows best in pure waters, so too do we flourish in the presence of supportive and positive influences. A flower blooms in gentle rain, not where the storms bring only pain. Choose your garden, tend it well, where peace and growth together dwell. There's a story of a young professional named Emily. She had always been the friend who gave endlessly. Her energy, her time, her emotional support. Yet, as the years passed, she found herself depleted, her own needs ignored. Emily began noticing patterns. Some friends brought warmth and encouragement, while others seemed to thrive on gossip, criticism, and conflict. After a particularly difficult evening, she recalled a Buddhist teaching she had once read: "Associate with the wise who discipline you, who speak the truth, and who counsel you against wrongdoing." Emily decided to perform a quiet but profound act. She conducted a relationship audit. She listed the people in her life, reflecting on how each relationship made her feel. Some names brought a smile, others a heaviness in her chest. Slowly, with compassion, she began to distance herself from those who drained her spirit, while investing more in those who uplifted her. Over time, she noticed an immense shift, not just in her energy, but in her inner peace. The Buddha taught that the company we keep is not merely a backdrop to our lives. It shapes our thoughts, actions, and ultimately, our destiny. Toxic influences are like weeds in a garden. They may start small, but, left unchecked, they spread, choking the growth of healthier plants. Letting go of these influences is not an act of rejection but of self-compassion. It's a way of creating space for the light of positivity to shine. The winds of kindness softly blow. Clear the garden, let it grow. The weeds will fade. The roots will heal. A lighter heart, a stronger will. If you were to pause now and reflect, what would you find? Who in your life nurtures your spirit, and who weighs it down? Write their names and consider. How do you feel after spending time with them? Are there relationships you can approach with kindness but more distance? Remember, eliminating toxic influences doesn't mean cutting ties in anger. It means making intentional choices about where to place your energy. The Buddha's teachings on compassion remind us to act with kindness, even as we set boundaries. Just as Emily chose her path with care, you too can choose yours, knowing that in tending your garden, you create a space where joy and peace can flourish. Rule 5. Step out of your comfort zone. There's a natural pull towards safety, a longing for the familiar rhythms of life. Yet, deep within, we all know that growth lies beyond the edges of comfort. The Buddhist teaching of impermanence, the truth that all things change, reminds us that clinging to what feels safe can keep us stuck. True transformation requires courage, the willingness to embrace the unknown and trust the process of becoming. The river bends, it does not fight. The mountain climbs to meet the light. Step into paths where courage grows. The seeds of strength in change are sown. Consider the story of Robert, a retired teacher in his 60s. For decades, his life revolved around his classroom, a place where he felt valued and confident. But after retiring, he found himself adrift. The days stretched long, and a quiet unease settled over him. One evening, he attended a local talk on Buddhism and heard the teaching of non-attachment, the idea that clinging to the past prevents us from embracing new possibilities. Inspired, Robert decided to try something completely unfamiliar. He joined a pottery class. At first, he felt awkward and out of place among the younger students, his hands fumbling with the clay. But week by week, something beautiful happened. He not only learned a new skill but discovered a joy he hadn't felt in years. Robert's story reflects a truth we often resist. Stepping into discomfort is not about abandoning who we are, but about discovering who we can become. The Buddhist teachings on impermanence and non-attachment encourage us to release our grip on what feels safe and embrace the dynamic flow of life. Growth is not linear. It is messy, unpredictable, and deeply rewarding. A leaf lets go to touch the ground. A seed breaks soil without a sound. The sky expands where roots once clung. A song begins where none was sung. Think about your own life. Is there a passion, a dream, or even a small curiosity you've hesitated to explore? Perhaps fear whispers, "What if I fail?" But as the Buddha reminds us, failure is not the end. It's a teacher. Each stumble offers a lesson. Each risk a chance to deepen our understanding of ourselves. Stepping out of your comfort zone doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as joining a book club, trying a new recipe, or starting a conversation with a stranger. The key is to take one step, a small act of courage that stretches the boundaries of the familiar. In doing so, you honor the truth of impermanence and embrace the adventure of living fully. The step you fear may hold the key to paths unseen, to being free. Dare to walk where light is thin. The journey waits. Begin. In reflecting on these teachings, let yourself be inspired by the stories of those who have walked this path before you. Emily, who found peace in letting go of toxic ties, and Robert, who discovered new joy in his later years. Their journeys remind us that transformation is not about grand leaps, but about small, intentional choices made with courage and clarity. As you consider these rules, ask yourself, what can I let go of to create space for growth? What small step can I take today toward a life that feels more aligned, more alive? Let these questions guide you as you move forward with wisdom and compassion, knowing that the path to transformation is not a destination but a journey that begins with the quiet, deliberate courage to take the first step. Rule 6. Invest in yourself. There's a profound beauty in the simple truth that you, as you are, hold the seeds of infinite potential. Yet how often do we neglect the soil in which those seeds are planted? The Buddhist teachings remind us that nurturing the mind, body, and spirit is not a luxury but a necessity. It is through this care that we cultivate wisdom, resilience, and the capacity to bring light to the world. Investing in yourself begins with recognizing that your well-being is intertwined with your ability to live a life of meaning. The Buddha often spoke of the middle way, a path of balance that avoids both indulgence and deprivation. This balance is the foundation of holistic self-care, encompassing the mind's clarity, the body's vitality, and the spirit's serenity. A tree grows strong with roots below. Its leaves reach high where winds may blow. So too must care in balance meet, to ground the soul and make it complete. Consider Sarah, a teacher who gave everything to her students but neglected her own needs. Her days were filled with lesson planning, late nights grading, and constant worry about being enough for her class. Over time, her passion turned to burnout, her joy to exhaustion. One evening, she stumbled across the Buddha's words, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." It was a revelation. Sarah began to realize that caring for herself wasn't selfish. It was essential. She started small. She began meditating for 10 minutes each morning, creating a moment of calm before the day's chaos. She signed up for a weekend mindfulness retreat, where she learned to observe her thoughts without judgment. Over time, Sarah found that by investing in her own peace, she could give more authentically to her students without feeling drained. The Eightfold Path, particularly right effort and right mindfulness, encourages us to make deliberate choices that promote well-being. Mindfulness, a cornerstone of Buddhist practice, is one of the most powerful investments you can make in yourself. It teaches you to be present, to observe the ebb and flow of life without attachment, and to find stillness amid the noise. The breath flows in, the breath flows out. Within its rhythm, dispel your doubt. Each moment holds a quiet light to guide your heart from dark to bright. Modern life offers countless ways to invest in yourself, from attending yoga classes to pursuing online courses or engaging in creative hobbies. The key is to choose practices that nourish you holistically. Consider these questions. What makes my mind feel clear and focused? What helps my body feel strong and energized? What brings my spirit peace and joy? Creating a self-investment plan can be a transformative exercise. Write down 3 areas where you'd like to grow, perhaps cultivating patience, improving physical health, or learning a new skill. Then, for each area, list 1 small action you can take. Remember, this is not about grand gestures but consistent, meaningful steps. A journey starts with but 1 stride. With faith and care, let trust abide. The smallest step, the quiet way, can shape the path of night to day. Rule 7. Manage your time wisely. Time, like a river, flows endlessly forward. The Buddha's teaching of impermanence reminds us that each moment is fleeting, a precious gift that cannot be reclaimed once it has passed. How we choose to spend our time shapes the quality of our lives. Yet, in the rush of daily responsibilities, how often do we truly pause to ask, am I using my time wisely? The story of Andrew, a father balancing a demanding job with family responsibilities, illustrates this beautifully. Andrew often felt like he was running on a treadmill, constantly busy but rarely fulfilled. His workdays blurred into nights, and though he spent time with his children, he often felt distracted. One day, he came across a Buddhist reflection. "The trouble is, you think you have time." These words struck him deeply. He realized that while he couldn't create more hours in a day, he could choose how to fill them. Andrew began practicing mindful scheduling. He set boundaries at work, ensuring he was fully present with his family during meals and bedtime. He introduced time blocking, dedicating focus periods for specific tasks, interspersed with moments of rest and reflection. Slowly, his days felt less like a chaotic race and more like a meaningful rhythm. The sun will rise, the sun will set, each moment's gift don't soon forget. The sands of time slip through the hand, make each one count, and life expand. Managing time wisely is not about cramming more into your day. It's about aligning your actions with your values. Buddhism teaches that mindfulness is not reserved for meditation cushions. It's a way of approaching every moment with intention. By being fully present in what you do, whether it's working, cooking, or spending time with loved ones, you honor the impermanence of time. Practical tools can help bring this mindfulness into daily life. Time blocking, for instance, allows you to allocate specific hours for work, rest, and personal growth. A digital detox, a deliberate break from screens, can create space for deeper connection and reflection. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can let go of today to create more space for what truly matters? The clock may tick, the hours fade, but moments lived with care are made. Each breath, each task, a chance to be aligned with purpose, calm, and free. Reflecting on time also brings us face to face with the concept of non-attachment. We often feel pressure to accomplish more, to fill every moment with productivity. But as the Buddha taught, clinging to outcomes can lead to suffering. Instead, focus on the process, on the joy of doing rather than the need to complete. Sarah, the teacher, found balance by letting go of her perfectionism. Andrew, the father, found connection by prioritizing presence over multitasking. Their stories remind us that time, when used wisely, becomes a vessel for growth, joy, and peace. As you think about your own relationship with time, consider this: what does a well-lived day look like to me? How can I bring more mindfulness into my schedule? These questions are not meant to overwhelm but to inspire. Each day is an opportunity to align your time with your truest values. Time, a gift, not yours to hold, a fleeting flame, a thread of gold. Use it well, with care and grace, to leave your mark, to find your place. In both investing in yourself and managing your time, the thread that connects these practices is intention. By choosing to nurture your mind, body, and spirit, and by approaching time with mindfulness and care, you honor the precious, impermanent nature of life itself. Each moment becomes a chance to grow, to heal, and to live with purpose. The Buddha's wisdom reminds us that transformation is not found in grand gestures, but in the quiet, deliberate choices we make each day. Rule 8. Develop a growth mindset. Life, in all its fleeting beauty, is a canvas painted with change. The Buddha's teachings on impermanence remind us that nothing remains static. everything is in a state of becoming. It is in this truth that we find the foundation of a growth mindset. To embrace impermanence is to recognize that we, too, are not fixed. Our thoughts, actions, and abilities are ever evolving, capable of transformation through effort and intention. Imagine the story of Anna, a young entrepreneur whose first business venture failed spectacularly. She had poured her heart into it, only to see it crumble. In the depths of her despair, Anna encountered a Buddhist teaching that changed her perspective. Just as the lotus rises from the mud, so too can we rise from our struggles. Inspired, she began to see failure not as an end but as a teacher. Each mistake became a lesson, each setback an opportunity to refine her vision. Over time, Anna rebuilt her business, not on fear of failure but on a foundation of resilience and curiosity. The seed that breaks its fragile shell knows not if it will rise or fall, but reaching upward toward the sun. Its journey of growth has just begun. A growth mindset invites us to view challenges not as barriers but as stepping stones. In the Four Noble Truths, the Buddha teaches us that suffering is part of life, but through understanding and effort we can transcend it. This philosophy aligns beautifully with the modern concept of embracing challenges and learning from them. Whether it's navigating a difficult relationship, mastering a new skill, or pursuing a long-held dream, each challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. To cultivate this mindset, start with self-reflection. Take a moment to journal about your perceived limitations. What beliefs hold you back? Perhaps you think, "I'm not good at this," or "I've never been able to succeed." Now gently challenge these thoughts. Reframe them as opportunities. "I may not be good at this yet, but I can improve," or "Each attempt brings me closer to success." A mind once closed now opens wide. The doubts recede, the fears subside. Each thought transformed, each step you take, reveals the strength within to wake. The Buddha's teachings also emphasize right effort, the deliberate cultivation of wholesome qualities, and the abandonment of unwholesome ones. This principle encourages us to approach growth with intention and consistency. Rather than striving for perfection, focus on progress. Celebrate the small victories, for they are the building blocks of transformation. Rule 9. Stay consistent and patient. Transformation, like the growth of a mighty tree, is not instantaneous. It requires patience, steady effort, and trust in the process. The Buddhist teachings remind us that the journey toward enlightenment, or any meaningful change, is built on consistent, intentional actions over time. Consider the story of James, a marathon runner who faced injury during his training. At first, he was devastated, questioning whether he should give up. But then, he reflected on a teaching from the Noble Eightfold Path. Perseverance through challenges cultivates resilience. James adjusted his training, focusing on small, consistent steps rather than grand leaps. Each day, he took one step closer to recovery, celebrating the progress he made. Months later, he crossed the finish line, not because of sudden bursts of effort, but because of his unwavering consistency. The river carves the stone so slow, with patience steady, its waters flow. Each drop a whisper, each step a start, transforming mountains with quiet art. In Buddhism, patience is a virtue deeply tied to the understanding of impermanence. When we accept that all things unfold in their own time, we free ourselves from the frustration of immediate results. This principle is beautifully illustrated in the story of a young monk tasked with carrying water up a mountain daily. When asked if he ever tired of the task, he replied, "Each step is my meditation. Each drop is my offering." His patience transformed a chore into a practice of mindfulness and gratitude. In your own life, reflect on areas where impatience may be holding you back. Are you frustrated by slow progress? Discouraged by setbacks? Take a moment to breathe deeply and remind yourself that growth is not a race. Each small action contributes to the larger journey. The bamboo bends yet does not break. It grows with grace for patience's sake. Each inch it climbs, unseen by eye, until it pierces through the sky. One practical strategy for maintaining consistency is to celebrate small wins. Often, we focus so intently on the end goal that we overlook the progress we've made. Did you stick to your habit for 1 week? Did you complete a challenging task? Pause and acknowledge these moments. Gratitude for progress reinforces motivation and reminds you that transformation is unfolding, even if it feels slow. Another strategy is to create a visual reminder of your journey. A journal, a vision board, or a simple checklist. These tools serve as anchors, grounding you in the present and reminding you of your progress. When setbacks arise, they offer a gentle nudge to keep moving forward. The smallest steps, though hard to see, compose the path to what will be. Each stumble to a lesson shows a step toward where the spirit grows. As you reflect on these teachings, ask yourself, what is one small action I can take today toward my goal? How can I practice patience with myself and others? These questions invite you to approach your journey with compassion, recognizing that transformation is not linear but cyclical, filled with moments of growth and reflection. The Buddha's teachings remind us that the path to transformation is not marked by speed, but by steady effort. With each step, each small victory, you are moving closer to your highest potential. Trust in the process, celebrate the journey, and remember, patience is not passive. It is the quiet strength that allows us to endure, to learn, and to grow. In time, the seed becomes the tree. Its branches stretch where eyes can't see. With care and love, it will unfold. A story of growth, both brave and bold. Rule 10. Practice daily gratitude. Gratitude is more than a fleeting thank you whispered in passing. It is a practice, a mindset, a way of anchoring ourselves in the present moment. In the teachings of the Buddha, gratitude aligns closely with mindfulness, the art of being fully aware of the gifts that exist in each moment. By cultivating gratitude, we open our hearts to abundance, even amidst adversity. The morning sun, a gentle grace, the quiet wind, its warm embrace. Each moment holds a gift untold. In stillness, treasures we behold. There is a story of a refugee family who fled their war-torn homeland with little more than the clothes on their backs. Each day was a struggle, finding food, seeking shelter, and grappling with the uncertainty of tomorrow. Yet, every evening, the family would gather, light a small candle, and share one thing they were grateful for that day. One child might mention a kind stranger who shared bread, another the shelter of a tree during a storm. Slowly, gratitude became their anchor. It reminded them of what they still had, their love, their resilience, their hope. This story illustrates a profound truth. Gratitude does not erase suffering, but it transforms our relationship with it. The Buddha taught that life is inherently marked by dukkha, suffering or dissatisfaction. But through the practice of gratitude, we can shift our focus from what is lacking to what is present. This shift, subtle but powerful, fosters resilience and peace. In shadows deep, the light may hide, yet gratitude reveals inside. A flicker, faint, of joy's sweet song reminds the heart where we belong. In modern life, it is easy to fall into the trap of scarcity, a mindset fixated on what we lack. Social media bombards us with images of others' successes, fueling a cycle of comparison and inadequacy. The Buddha's teaching on craving and attachment reminds us that clinging to what we don't have leads to suffering. Gratitude, on the other hand, is a gentle antidote. By focusing on what we already possess, we break free from the cycle of craving and step into a space of contentment. Consider this: what if you paused right now and named 3 things you are grateful for? Perhaps it's the warmth of your morning tea, the smile of a loved one, or the simple fact that you are alive, breathing, in this moment. Each acknowledgement becomes a stepping stone toward abundance, a reminder that life's beauty often lies in its simplicity. The cup in hand, the breath we take, each humble gift, the heart awake. In noticing, the mind will see, abundance lives in you and me. The practice of keeping a gratitude journal can deepen this awareness. Set aside a few minutes each day to write down 3 things you are grateful for. They need not be grand or extraordinary. The sound of rain, a kind word from a stranger, or even the strength to face another day are all worthy of acknowledgement. Over time, This practice rewires your mind, helping you see blessings where you once saw burdens. The Buddha's teaching of right mindfulness within the Eightfold Path encourages us to bring intentional awareness to our experiences. Gratitude journaling is a way to cultivate this mindfulness. Each entry becomes a moment of stillness, a chance to pause and reflect amidst the busyness of life. The ink on page, a gentle thread that ties the heart to what is said. Each word a bridge, from lack to grace, a quiet home, a sacred space. Let us return to the story of the refugee family. Their gratitude did not deny the hardships they faced, but illuminated the small joys that gave them strength. This perspective aligns with the Buddhist understanding of impermanence, that all things, including suffering, are temporary. By focusing on what remains, we cultivate resilience and a deep appreciation for the present. In your own life, challenges may feel overwhelming, and gratitude may seem out of reach. But even in difficulty, there are moments of light, perhaps a friend's kind gesture, the comfort of a favorite song, or the beauty of the sky at dusk. These small joys, when acknowledged, grow into a wellspring of strength. In storms that rage, the heart may find a quiet grace, a gentle kind. The smallest light, a beacon near, guides the soul through doubt and fear. Gratitude also deepens our connection to others. In expressing thanks, whether through words, gestures, or acts of kindness, we strengthen relationships and build a sense of community. The Buddha emphasized compassion as a cornerstone of spiritual practice. Gratitude is compassion turned outward, a recognition of the gifts we receive and a willingness to share them in return. As you move through your day, consider who has made a difference in your life. Perhaps it's a mentor, a friend, or even a stranger whose small act of kindness left an impact. Take a moment to thank them, either silently in your heart or through a message. This act of gratitude not only uplifts them but also nurtures your own spirit. The words of thanks, a gentle stream that waters roots and feeds the dream, a kindness shared, a bond restored, a gift that circles evermore. Gratitude, when practiced daily, becomes a sanctuary, a place of calm amid life's storms. It teaches us that abundance is not found in possessions or achievements, but in the simple, often overlooked moments that fill our days. It is a reminder that even in the midst of struggle, there is always something to be grateful for. The Buddha's teachings invite us to live fully in the present, embracing each moment with awareness and appreciation. Gratitude is one way to do this. It transforms ordinary days into sacred opportunities, helping us see that life, with all its imperfections, is a gift. As you reflect on this practice, ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? How can I carry this gratitude into my interactions with others? Let these questions guide you, not as tasks to complete, but as invitations to deepen your connection with life's quiet wonders. The heart that feels, the mind that sees, the beauty in life's mysteries. In gratitude, the soul takes flight, from darkest depths to boundless light. As we near the end of our journey, let's take a moment to pause and reflect. Transformation is not an overnight process. It's a series of small, deliberate choices that, over time, create profound change. From taking responsibility for your life to practicing gratitude each day, these 10 rules are not just tools, they're invitations. They invite you to rediscover your purpose, reimagine your possibilities, and reclaim your inner peace. Remember Sarah, the overwhelmed professional? She didn't transform her life in one giant leap. She started small, by writing down her goals, practicing mindfulness, and stepping out of her comfort zone. Over time, those small steps led to big changes. And the same is true for you. So, let me ask you, which of these rules resonates most with you? Perhaps it's building discipline, eliminating toxic influences, or embracing a growth mindset. Whatever it is, take one small step today. Write it down, reflect on it, and then act. Because the life you desire is closer than you think. It's just one step away. As we conclude, I want to leave you with this thought. Transformation is a journey, not a destination. It's okay to stumble, to feel unsure, or to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. What matters is that you keep moving forward, with patience, consistency, and self-compassion. If you found value in today's video, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Lotus Light Teachings. Your support helps us reach others who, like you, are seeking meaningful change. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 10 rules will you embrace in 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might just inspire someone else to take their first step. Thank you for joining me today. May 2025 be a year of transformation, growth, and light for you. Until next time, take care and keep shining your light.